Hey guys, so I'm going to be talking about Linux Mint and Ubuntu and and other things. So um there's a major difference between in Ubuntu and Linux Mint. So Ubuntu uses a lot of compute resources, but Linux Mint uses less resources than Ubuntu. But Ubuntu is faster than Windows and is in the category called popular Linux distros. So Ubuntu is a popular Linux distro, but however, yes, indeed Ubuntu is faster than Windows 10, but Linux or any, but it doesn't matter what type of Linux distro it is, because in any Linux distro, it doesn't support a .exe file because it uses a different programming language that is different than Windows. Making it impossible to use Windows applications. But you can use Wine. But you can use Wine but you can use Wine which you can use a program called Wine which allows you to install Windows applications on macOS and Linux. So Linux only supports .deb files. And in order to install Windows applications is that in some Linux distros, or I don't know, or in some Linux distros, or maybe all of Linux distros, there's this thingy called Ubuntu software. Now I'm currently using Ubuntu, so it says Ubuntu software. So I'm not using Linux Mint, and so it doesn't say something else. It just says Ubuntu software. And you can install Windows applications from there. But the problem is the reason, you can't install all Windows applications because in order for it to be available is that you have to log in and then I don't know how this works. And anyway, so let's talk about Roblox. Roblox's new update is ruining for Linux use. So Roblox's update is ruining Wine because it turns out that Roblox rolled out their new anti-cheat code Goodbye for on, and which means if you have Wine running and then you try to install Roblox with it, it's not going to work because the anti-cheat is going to block it. And yes, Wine supports 64-bit programs, so it's not the 64-bit problem. It's problem or any of the bits. It's problem. It's just the anti-cheat problem. Because well, you see, like back in the day, hold on. Let me load up the picture first. Okay, there we go. So here's this screenshot. And well, before Roblox rolled out the anti-cheat, I used to be playing in Roblox on Linux Mint a lot. I was on 23 or 4th of 11th, I would play a Roblox on Linux Mint a lot. Like this was before I continued to use Windows. This is before where I started making a lot of YouTube videos. So I used to be playing Roblox a lot on Linux Mint, and it was really cool. But I have a fast computer, and it doesn't really make any sense to just install Roblox, to just run Roblox on Linux Mint, and because after a few years I decided to switch back to Windows. That's because I hadn't visited my Windows desktop in so long, and it turns out that the ad blocker stopped working thingy. So I think it's like a free try on it, but now it's telling me to install this add-on, and you have to pay for that add-on. It's called Total Ad Block, and well, it's not free like the other ad block is. So I had to install a new ad blocking extension. So I had to install the same ad blocker that my dad uses. It's called uBlock Origin. And I was using Microsoft Edge, but I realized that my dad had this thingy called Microsoft. So which means my dad knows what I'm searching, but because I'm set as an administrator on my computer, it says on my dad's phone it says that Microsoft Family thingy won't work properly. Yeah, and it's kind of fine for my dad, I guess. So I decided to switch to different. So I decided to switch to a different web browser. So called Mozilla Firefox, but after that I switched to Opera GX. Then I decided to install Brave and only run YouTube on it. in it because I don't like how YouTube has contains trackers in them because I'm not sure why YouTube needs that many trackers because in the other video I decided to start recording because I got shocked how much trackers Brave blocked up on YouTube, and it made me think that YouTube was a dangerous site because why does it need so many trackers? Because why do YouTube need that much trackers? Because is it for advertisement? Is the trackers sending people advertisement, and when our web browser is blocking these trackers, we don't get sent advertisement? So are these trackers meant for advertisement, or are they just meant for something else? I don't know, but in this picture you can see I'm using the Mint X theme. I don't know why I use the Mint X theme because I don't know why I even choose Linux Mint instead of Ubuntu, because my computer is very fast. It's not very slow. They have 16 megabytes of memory, so my computer is kind of fast. And the maximum slots of my gigabyte of memory are 2, but I use it. But when I was using Linux Mint, I was using, back in the day in 332, between 332 and 331, when I was using my computer, for some reason, the monitor won't show up anything, so my dad decided to remove one stick of memory from my computer, and somehow fix the problem. And I had one out of 2. I have 2 out of 1, and I had this thingy where I have 1 memory in 2 slots, which I had this for a really long time until we installed HP thingy. So we checked some problems and we fixed the problem. So now I have 2 memory in 2 slots now. I'm 9 years old, so I don't have a bank account yet. But my dad said I'll get a bank account when I'm older yet. Which is why I'm so bad at editing. Because I'm still a child. I'm still terrible at editing. And I go to the school called Orion Primary School, but I changed schools, so I'm in Gold B2s. Okay, I don't want to talk about personal stuff about me. Anyways, let's talk about something else. Because I don't know why this Roblox update ruined. I already talked about it. it because well it I was using I used Linux Mint before, and I decided to, and then I switched to Ubuntu. Hold on, let me. Okay, there we go. Now it makes sense. And so I was using the first Linux operating system that I used was Linux Mint. Then I switched to my Windows desktop, and after a few years not a few years because I was using Linux Mint in 2023, so I don't know why I would say a few years. So I don't know, a few months or weeks. I decided for a really long time. Like yesterday, I didn't want to go on. I decided to switch to Ubuntu to yesterday on. Hold on, let me check something. Okay, so yesterday I was yesterday I decided to install Ubuntu and overwrite it Linux Mint, and because on when I was using Linux Mint, I was playing this game called Retro Studio, and I made my game called the oldest game ever made in Roblox, and it was kind of just a joke. So I made the timeline in early 2009, and I decided to fit the style. So I looked up a tutorial on how to make Linux Mint. So I decided to search up which version of Linux was released in 2009, and there's called ubuntu thingy. I don't know. I don't remember what the version was. So it was called ubuntu thingy, but I looked up a tutorial on how to make Linux Mint look like that, and it told me, but I didn't read the title too, so I thought it would make Linux Mint look like Linux Mint from early 2009. But it turns out the title just tells you how to make it look aesthetic with the KDE plasma style or small. So it told me to, and I didn't realize that this would make me stay on KDE Plasma on Linux Mint permanently unless I reinstall Linux Mint or overwrite it Linux Mint by using Ubuntu. So I decided to switch to my Windows desktop, and because I wasn't on my Linux Mint desktop for a really long time, you might decide to visit it again. But I looked at it and I saw how much updates were in its update manager. So I decided So I decided to so I decided yesterday I decided on July 21st of 2023, I talked about me and my dad at that night time. I talked about me and my dad about so I told my dad that I was making Linux Mint look like it's like Linux Mint from early 2009, but it turns out that it was but it turns out that the tutorial told me to install KDE Plasma and other packages thing yeah. So I told my dad if we can install ubuntu on my system, and my dad said yes, but tomorrow. So on July 22, which was yesterday, so my dad decided to download the latest version of Ubuntu and put it on a empty USB disk, and it was taking a long time to load because the USB drive was slow. Because the downloadation was only running from the USB. So after we finish installing Ubuntu, I started using Ubuntu so much, and today in the morning I was using Ubuntu, but when I restarted when I pressed the icon, the shutdown icon, can write the top up on the second taskbar, I guess, whatever this is that looks similar to Mac OS. As I pressed it and I pressed restart, which I can switch to my Windows desktop, but I decided to switch back to Ubuntu again, but for some reason it kept on redirecting me to Windows. It was supposed to take me to the Windows boot manager, so I can select Ubuntu, but it didn't. But instead of showing the boot manager, or it just kept on doing that. And my dad said that I somehow managed to remove the boot manager. Which is why I kept on getting sent to Windows. So my dad decided to download the third-party software boot manager, and it worked. And Dad told me that if I want to go to Ubuntu, I have to press F9. So I had to spam F9 every time I restarted Windows in order to go to Ubuntu and oh, I forgot to show wrong image. And well I don't really care much if Ubuntu uses a lot of computer resources because my computer is fast, so I don't really care much if it uses a lot of resources. Since I have a fast computer, so it should be able to handle Ubuntu. Now it kind of worked, but if I select Ubuntu on the blue boot manager, it would select me to the Windows boot manager, and then I'll have to pick Ubuntu again, and then it would take me to Ubuntu. So yeah. So only I did something to remove the boot manager, but I didn't know how to remove the Windows boot manager. Just so it kind of showed up. So yeah. And well, this videos and some of the video quality, like every time I record with this video on Ubuntu, the video quality is 60p, but when I record OBS on Windows, it's 48p. So that's a bit strange. Anyways, I know Ubuntu uses a lot of computer resources, but I think Ubuntu has a better design than because I tried making Linux Mint look like Ubuntu, and it turns out that the themes I installed, it actually made Ubuntu. It turns out that the themes I installed were actually the old themes, so they were the old Ubuntu themes. So which means the icons looked like Ubuntu from 2015. And this is the old Ubuntu icon logo. And the new one doesn't have any cuts, so it has a bigger circle with it in the lines. And so it didn't make it look like Ubuntu. It didn't make it look like the newest one from Ubuntu. It just made it look like the old one from Ubuntu, the 2015 version of Ubuntu. So yeah, sort of failed to make it Linux Mint look like Ubuntu. Because it's like in default, like the Ubuntu into taskbar, the Ubuntu taskbar is on the left, but for some reason it's called dash for some reason instead of taskbar. Maybe it's maybe it's because it's on the left side and not on the bottom with giant icons. Anyways, which operating system would you prefer, Linux, Mint, or Ubuntu? But there's like a way to make Ubuntu use less compute resources. Is that in Ubuntu you can enable power save so it will use less compute resources. And like when I installed OBS software, OBS Studio, I installed OBS Studio by typing in the commands into the terminal. I don't know how typing in those commands in the terminal install OBS Studio, but OBS Studio wasn't like fully installed, which is why some of the features in OBS were sort of missing because I wasn't able to type in the commands. It's on the Ubuntu command line. Ubuntu is for hackers because it's open source. Which means when the hacker is using Ubuntu, they can hack like other operating systems that are less secure than Linux, like Windows, which is the most popular operating system. Which means that it also makes Windows less secure than Linux, because the hacker can use Ubuntu and then hack Windows and take control of their computer. And Windows viruses can't can't infect Ubuntu because it can't run. Second of all, it can't run Windows applications. It doesn't support Windows applications, and it's more secure than in Windows, so it's just going to delete the virus. And Linux viruses are very rare. But for some reason there's no firewall on Ubuntu. So and I tried switching it up. Okay, so I'm currently on Ubuntu. So look, there is no firewall. If there is no firewall, then how is Linux? Then how is Ubuntu defending off the viruses? So it turns out that, and well, the black screen isn't a glitch or a problem. I'm just hiding my screen capture. So I'm making it hidden. And anyways, I don't know why Ubuntu has no firewall. I think maybe it's not available in the show apps section. Like maybe you can only like see it in the terminal. I think you can only use it in the terminals. So Ubuntu is because and anyways, bye guys. That was a lot of talking.